Welcome. My name is Shireen. So nice to have you. I trust that you and your family are well as the world tries to to cope with COVID-19. I am a soft skills and etiquette writer, speaker, and coach. And I prepared this video to share 6 tips to help you to make a good impression, to come across as professional as you conduct your online meetings. COVID-19 has forced us to adjust our lives, and particularly in the area of business, we have to conduct most businesses these days online. In the area of work, right, your vocation, your employment, you will perhaps have to attend online meetings, right, via the various platforms, be it social media, be it Skype, be it Zoom. And those of you who are educators like myself, you conduct your classes online as well. And so the thinking behind this video is to share 6 tips, very easy, simple to do tips, so that you can come across as professional, right, as you conduct those online meetings. All right, so let's begin. Number 1, be prepared. Yes, you must be prepared. You must know your subject very well. That's the first step. You must know your subject very well. So say you are invited to speak about a particular subject, whether you are an expert and authority on the subject matter, you must know your subject very well. And it goes without saying, if you are an expert, then you know the subject very well. But sometimes we're taken off guard. So I'll use myself as an example. If I'm invited to speak about business or social etiquette, that can be very broad. So what you want to do is to, of course, your knowledge base is wide, but you want to zoom in on the particular topic that, say, the interviewer would like to talk about. Good. COVID-19 has forced us, yes, it has forced us to adjust our lives. And so we have to find ways and means to adjust. And this is just one such. So to begin with, be prepared. You want to look professional. You want to sound professional. Yes, and a little later on, I'll talk about, say, your background and the like. But the next point here, know the name of the media house, the institution, or the company. Sometimes, just sometimes, you watch interviews, right, on television, for example, and you can tell that the guest is not quite sure about the name of the media house, right? Or even the name of the host, the person they're being interviewed by. So be mindful of this. Say if your meeting is one that is of a business nature, you want to know the names of the parties. So multiple people are on the call, and you want to ensure that, yes, you know who you're talking to so that you can at least address them by name. Good. It also helps to know the date and the time. So you can say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It matters. It makes a positive, it makes a good impression. So be mindful of these small things. So that's number 1, be prepared. Number 2, stage your background. Ta-da! Right? You want to keep it simple. You want to keep it fresh. You want to keep it, you want to ensure that your background is not a distraction. So even as I prepare for this video, I ensure that there is absolutely nothing, yes, I'm moving about my hand, that there is absolutely nothing to distract you. So for those of you with your impressive reading collection, your home library, believe it or not, and while I'm not saying that's a no-no, but it can be a distraction. You want to keep it minimal. You want to keep it focused on you. Yes, you are the person being interviewed. You are sharing information in your capacity or in the specific capacity. So I have some tips here. Let me share them with you. Right? You want to limit or avoid any and everything that will be a distraction. I touched on that earlier. You also want to avoid a plain or a blank wall. And by that, let me just shift my camera and then you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So let's say this is my background. It looks bland, wouldn't you say? So you want to avoid this. And while I'm not saying don't, but you want to avoid. Good? But equally, you do not want your background to be crowded. You don't want it to be a distraction. So you want to find a middle ground. And so I will adjust my camera and we will continue. We will continue. There you have it. All right, nice. Do add a plant or a flower. I have my beautiful plant here. Real or artificial, you decide. This one is real. Good. I like having live plants around. Do include abstract art. So if you have art on your wall, that's good. But again, you don't want it to be too big, too much of a distraction. I also see where persons show family pictures. You don't necessarily want to do that. While it gives a cozy look and a united, right, family oriented, it gives the impression that, you know, you are family oriented. And that's admirable and commendable. But you don't necessarily want to expose such information to the world, depending on the platform. So you want to think about that. Do use a lamp. Here I have a lamp, and it provides that nice. It warms the room, right? Or in staging, it makes a good impression, I would say. I like the look of it, so you can turn it on or it can remain off, but it gives a nice air, right? It warms the atmosphere. The other point, do select the right lighting. Lighting is so very important. So whether it's artificial light, as you can see here, yes, versus natural light, yes, I think that's the better option of the two. But given the time, you decide which is best for you. Good. And you want to keep the light in front the camera, and that way you should. While I'm not a photographer and I know a little about lighting, but what I do know is that when, for example, in this recording, I have a lamp before me and it shines brightly, and that helps to give a clear picture. It enhances the picture. Good. You do have the option in terms of your background, you do have the option to use a virtual background. So if you do not want all of this, the lamp, the lighting, anything on the wall, a painting, you know, framed art, anything of that sort, you certainly can do a virtual background, and that way you can get so creative. There are many options, many options. Good. So if you use Zoom and Skype, I think it's on Skype, you have the option to even blur your background. So do keep those pointers in mind. Good. One that I think most people have not thought about is to order a banner. To order a banner. And that banner, particularly when you are representing an institution, a business, a company, yes, it makes a positive impression. So that way you are not distracted by the room, what's in the room, what's showing in your background, any windows, any doors, anything in the room that, could likely be a distraction. So a banner, they come in different sizes, different shapes, different textures, right? Some are vertical, some are horizontal. You decide, and then you can have the name of the company, have this professionally done, right? It's important. It looks way better professionally done. And you can order this online. I think, I don't want to call any names necessarily, but do your shopping and you'll see that there are a number of companies that you can order from, right, online to make a banner. You can also use a whiteboard. I teach part time, and now that COVID-19 is upon us, yes, I teach online. I conduct my classes online. And what I do, in addition to Blackboard, whenever I use Skype, I also use my whiteboard. I write on my whiteboard. I share information, important reminders, due dates. Of course, I send them that information via email, but just in the moment. The whiteboard, you can use it, especially if you want to share specific information. So in addition to speaking about it, right, or your oral delivery, you can also write on a whiteboard. Good. So that is number two. Number three, control all and any noise or sound not related to the call or the meeting. Yes, that is a big deal. Noise can be a big distraction, right? So whether you have young children in your household, and even if they're not young, perhaps teenagers as well, if you have animals or pets, if you have any machines, yes, that's being operated while you are conducting that meeting or interview, you should keep this in mind. It also helps if you close the windows and doors. So that way you can limit external noise. Uh, Let me see the other. Cell phone, yes. Any device you may have that will sound. Perhaps you'll get a chime, an alert, and the like. Right. So you want to limit those. So in your preparation, you will address all these points that I'm sharing with you. All right. Number four, look professional. Let me sit up. Right. Look professional. Look appropriate. So particularly when you are representing your business, your company, an institution, an organization, it matters that you look the part. You should. And let me just say, this idea of wearing your business attire on top, so whether you're wearing a dress shirt, for example, if it's a gentleman and you're wearing a dress shirt, even with your jacket, right, looking sharp, but then below that you are in your PJs, I'm afraid that's unacceptable. Do not take it for granted that everything will go as planned, and so you should dress the part in its entirety. Yes, you should. So it's not cute, it's not funny. Just do what is required of you. I've seen it online, and I see people fooling around, saying how comfortable and cozy and the like. You know, there is this term, enclothed cognition. Enclothed cognition. And that is, it's scientific. It has been proven that when you are dressed a particular way, you behave accordingly. So when you are sharply dressed, you're usually a little bit more together versus when you are in beachwear or more relaxed, your behavior often reflects that way of being, right? So it's not cute. Don't do it. Remain professional, right? In wearing business attire, you don't necessarily have to wear a suit and tie, but you want to be appropriate. You want to be appropriate. A big one: comb your hair. Yes, comb your hair. You must look presentable. And I'm going to name names. I'm going to call names. Don't be like the British Prime Minister, Mr. Johnson, Boris Johnson. Yes, he refuses to comb his hair. Or his hair has its own mind, right? Comb your hair, look presentable. It doesn't reflect well to show up in public or on a public platform, right? Unkempt. Keep that in mind. Nice. So comb your hair and wear a little makeup. I mean, you don't have to go as they say, the whole 9 yards, but present yourself. So even if you're not a lipstick person, right? Moisturize your lips with lip gloss, right? You want to enhance your look, a little bit of makeup, even if it's not much, and present yourself. You look good, you feel good, you make a great impression. So think about that, right? You want to cover, particularly for ladies, you want to cover your clavicle, your upper chest area, right? It is a big distraction. It is a negative distraction when you watch, for example, TV, and the ladies, the cut is so low, it shows the bust and or their business, shall I say, or some of their business. You don't want to do that. You are about business, you're being professional, and you want to look the part, right? So don't be a negative distraction, and that certainly counts in that category. So dress appropriately, whatever your style. I'm not talking about your individual style. I think I would be out of order to comment in those on that matter, but you want to cover up appropriately and represent yourself in a positive light. You also want to avoid oversized jewelry. Who's talking about oversized jewelry, right? Appropriately so. You want to avoid anything that will bang and be a distraction, anything that's dangling too much, any image or wording that is printed on your clothing that will come across, that will be a distraction. You don't want that. Good, so you want to avoid that. Number 5, let's do it. Let's do this. Number 5, look interested. Have you recently looked at some of these interviews and their guests are on and they look like this? Stoic, unengaged, disinterest, not interested. You don't want to do that. Look interested. Avoid being too stiff. You know, you're stiff like that, as if you're frozen in time. So you want to be relaxed, upright posture. Yes, upright posture. Yet you want to be relaxed, but equally you want to look engaged. So do a little nonverbal communication occasionally, a nod of the head. Yes, you can tilt your head, not too much, but just to show that, yes, you are present, you are interested, and yeah, you are part of the discussion, right? So sit up and look interested. You should also smile. Smile where appropriate. Of course, you don't want that clown smile. So you'll smile where appropriate. And again, give the appropriate nonverbal communication. Yes, show interest, participate, right? Avoid too much gesticulation. The movements of the hands, it's a big distraction, especially when you're online. Yes, and so you want to limit that. I know some people, and I happen to be one of them, I tend to be expressive. So yes, I will use my hands, but I also am mindful of it, and so I have to be a little bit more measured. Good. So you may gesticulate. It shows how involved you are, perhaps how passionate you are, but you want to be measured. You want to control it. Uh, you want to avoid getting up. It is a big distraction, and for some reason, it comes across as rude, particularly if you have multiple parties on the call. So you get up at the point where another speaker is about to speak or start speaking, it comes across as though you don't want to hear what the person has to say. It comes across as rude. And you don't want that. You don't want to come across as rude. So again, preparing for the meeting, for the interview, whatever the nature of the call is, you want to keep this in mind. So whatever you need to have within arm's reach or nearby, just do just that. Keep whatever you need nearby so that you do not have to get up. Of course, if you have to, I think the parties will understand, right? But generally speaking, you want to avoid that. Remember to mute your microphone. So, for example, on Skype, if you are not, even on Zoom, if you are not speaking or addressing the audience at a particular time, it's a good idea to mute your microphone. And that way, any noise that is in your background or coming from your connection will not be conveyed, transmitted, shared with the other parties. So do keep that in mind. All right. This is just these are just a few tips that I'd like to share with you. Of course, you will find others, and you'll take what applies to you, and you'll leave what is left. All right. So number 6, finally, I am your soft skills and etiquette writer, speaker, and coach. And so it would be remiss of me to not include number 6. Guess what number 6 is? Remember to say thank you. Remember to say thank you. Courtesy. Yes, we can't afford to forget no matter what. So remember to say thank you, goodbye, and perhaps wish the person or the group a nice day. So thank you for having me, and do have a nice day. Goodbye. Yes, there you have it. All right, your 6 tips from Shireen. Again, thank you for joining me. I appreciate your company, and please stay well. Take excellent care of yourself. My website address is ShireenGillings.com. So if you'd like to get in touch, please do visit, and I'd be happy to chat with you further. Take excellent care until goodbye now. Bye-bye.